Anita Raghavan, in The Billionaire's Apprentice, you recount the rise and fall of Rajat Gupta, Raj Rajaratnam, and the Galleon Fund. Let's start with the rise of Rajat Gupta.
Well, Rajat Gupta, Greg, is a real Horatio Alger story. You know, he came from a very humble background. His father was a freedom fighter turned journalist. His mother was a teacher. He got to Harvard Business School on a scholarship, and then initially was turned down by McKinsey, but managed to convince his Harvard Business School professor to lob a call to the then managing director, and the rest is sort of history. He climbed through the ranks of McKinsey, managed to turn around Scandinavia and then Chicago, and of course in 1994 became the first Indian managing director of McKinsey, and also the first Indian to lead a major U.S. corporation. And I think that was the real remarkable thing about Rajat's rise.
And then he came into contact with Raj Rajaratnam from the Galleon Group. How did they meet, and what was their relationship like?
Yeah, I mean, Raj was a very different sort of person. I mean, he came from quite a privileged background. He loved to push the envelope, you know, like often rich kids do. They first met, Rajat heard about Raj through a colleague, Anil Kumar, who said, gosh, look, here's this guy, Raj, he gave $1 million to this pet project of yours. They got closer over the American India Foundation, which was a charity. And then in 2004, about a year after Rajat stepped down from the helm of McKinsey, you know, they started lunching together and talking about business ventures. And that was the beginning of their real business relationship.
And Rajat Gupta actually lost money in one of Raj Rajaratnam's funds. So why on earth would Rajat Gupta, when he was a board member at Goldman, illegally call him with a tip that Warren Buffett's going to invest in Goldman Sachs? This is a guy who lost him money. Why did he feel the need to get into Raj Rajaratnam's good graces so much that he insider traded to do it?
Right. You know, Greg, I think the defense would love to have you on their team. You know, that was the thrust of their argument throughout the trial. You know, Rajat lost money. Why would he be tipping Warren Buffett? And I don't think losing money and tipping Warren Buffett are, you know, two mutually exclusive things. I think he did lose money, but there were also, you know, tapes that showed that even after he lost money, he kept close to Raj and you know, was checking in on him during the financial crisis of 2008, and perhaps, as the prosecution argued, perhaps giving the tips was a way to get his money back, to see if the investment would go from zero back to 10 million, which is where it started.
And speaking of the trial, Preet Bharara, who is the district attorney in the U.S. who was in charge of prosecuting Rajat Gupta as well as Raj Rajaratnam, he's the good guy.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about him, because we're speaking about a lot of Indian Americans and their rise through the ranks of Wall Street. He's on the other side. These two are bad guys. Tell me about the good guy.
Right. You know, you raise an important point, Greg, because Rajat Gupta and Raj Rajaratnam are true first-generation South Asians. Raj, obviously, Sri Lankan. Preet, born in India, but came to the United States as a toddler. So really soaked in American values, American principles of law and justice, and ended up, you know, particularly with the case of involving Rajat Gupta, bringing the case and wanting to show Wall Street, you know, here's an example. We're not going to tolerate board members that tip off short-term traders. And I think this is a story as much about Indian Americans as it is about different generations, of how one generation may have looked back on their cozy ethnic ties to promote business, and how a new generation, an up-and-coming generation, is looking on those ties as you know, something to build a name for themselves in a different sort of way.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.